Good morning, everyone. What we'll do is we'll get started. I've just started the recording so that anyone that does join a little bit late or anyone that you do know that wishes to see this, once we've finished the recording, we'll put it up on Smart HQ. And if not, we'll share a link via Smart HQ where we can access it just via a OneDrive account. So, firstly, thank you all for joining today. We know that we're holding these sessions monthly, but hopefully they're providing a lot of value from, and just the theme of today is what we wanted to try and cover off was number one, demystifying Office 365. We speak to a lot of our partners, and some of the things that we get even at roadshows and even as recent as last week when we were talking with a partner about it was just a couple of things about some myths that we want to try and dispel. The other thing is wanted to give you an update on Windows 10 to go from that side and just answer any questions as you do. But if you can all hear me on instant messaging right now, and you can type in, wouldn't mind getting your email addresses, because what we'll do is we'll send you out a gift for being the first attenders. So helping us come along. So if you want throughout the conversation, just type in your email address in the IM window and we'll send you an Office 365 pack.
And that will also confirm that you can hear us.
Yeah. Great. Thanks for that. We've got that email address, so we'll pop that one through. So it pays to attend early. I don't know about the afternoon session because normally they're a little bit more popular. So I'll have that written down, and it said we've got your email, so I can reach out to you and send you something from that side. So much appreciated. And it also gives us a good dry run before the bigger one. All right. So on to the demystifying Office 365. I wanted to introduce also my colleague Gavin Whitney, who's on the call. So Gavin also manages the channel with myself, so we work hand in hand. And one of these initiatives was something that we started this year, and so far we've been doing a few of these and hopefully growing from strength to strength. So today's agenda, as I said, just a Windows 10 update, Office 365, some quick facts, product portfolio, myth busting, and I think important is we wanted to share what are we doing in the lead up to Christmas, and how can you get involved with that promotion so that it helps when your customers come in about Office 365, so you know everything about it, but also there's a promotion in market, so they're coming in and wanting to know more about it, and you and your team's already trained up for it. So without further ado, I'll kick into the Windows 10 momentum, and then I'll pass over to Gavin to do the brief on the 365 part, and we'll just keep alternating throughout the course. So Windows 10 momentum. So as you can see, 110 million devices running Windows 10, and every day and growing. To share within Australia, we had some expectations of how many people would upgrade to Windows 10. That number was quite large, a significant percentage of the population. And it exceeded our expectations by double. So whatever we thought and we had as a target for the end of the year, we've already achieved that. So Australia is upgrading a lot quicker than anyone else. So the Windows 10 momentum is growing really well. 192 countries running Windows 10. Almost every country on the planet has upgraded to Windows 10. So over 1 billion questions have been asked Cortana. Hopefully it's not, am I going to need a jacket tomorrow? Hopefully we're building it a bit more than that. Interestingly enough, the oldest manufactured PC that we have record of that have upgraded to Windows 10 was built in 2007. So that shows you how far back it can go. So that's great. The Xbox integration, so 120 years of gameplay has been streamed through devices with Windows 10 playing Xbox content. It's amazing just to see. Over 90,000 unique devices have been upgraded to Windows 10. So that's a pretty good net to say that it's compatible with devices. The other really good thing for us is that we've seen a 25% increase on intent to purchase, meaning that people want to buy a device with Windows 10. This is like a perfect storm we've got at the moment, where we've got upgrades like Skylake, happening in line with Windows 10. So Office and things like that just completes that the story. And an increase in brand perception. Of course, last week we did have our store launch, which we saw thousands of people line up and come in and experience the store over the weekend, and still got that buzz. So we're in a really good place at the moment, and hopefully it's good for yourselves, and you're seeing that momentum when customers are coming in. So I know Gavin was talking to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, as many of you and your customers would have experienced, there's been a number of incremental updates over the last few months since launch, but I noticed on the weekend, even in my home PC, there was a significant update that came through, and it took a little bit of time to complete. But Dan, what was that all about?
So there was that update coming through. So there's a few things that have come and that we've been waiting for. First, and I wanted to say is that and I'll go through a few versions, but we've got a bit more integration with Cortana coming in on devices, Continuum for phone, a bit of an upgrade around Edge, additional content like Maps, Groove, People, the camera applications. So just more applications are going. But I think the next slide that I wanted to show that actually had a bit more content on it was that we've got Cortana for Australia. So that was getting released, and that's coming with the update now. So we've been waiting for a while, and it understands all our colloquialisms, and so it's a lot easier to communicate. But it's not just about having understanding the Australian language or having an Australian accent. It's actually more important about the content we've got on the internet. So when we look for a restaurant local to us, it's not looking for a American fast food chain. It's actually looking for, like using examples, Ribs or Rump or Squire's Loft, or like a steakhouse that means something to us, that we know, and it works within the different types of applications that we have. So really cool.
And just on that, I mean, we've, that's one of the key launch features that we were speaking about back in the July timeframe. So to now have it fully accessible for Australian users and localized is a big milestone for us. I mean, we were working internally on our voice and submitting the Australian accent, for example, a number of months ago, probably 6-8 months ago now, that we were working on trying to make this, help this release. So it's great that it's now available. As I said, we spoke a lot about it at launch, but now to have it localized and available in our market. So, if you haven't had the update come through, I was searching for it and pushing it over the weekend, and it's now live. But operationally, Dan?
So as you can see, the key dates. So the OEM channel availability of release to manufacturer was on the 3rd of November. The Windows Update availability, which is what we're all seeing, was from the 12th of November. But importantly is, when will the stock that you're purchasing get updated? So the media will be updated from Microsoft to our distributors from the 1st of December. Of course, I expect that there'll be some stock of at our distributors now that they'll be purchasing. So that will go through. Looking at the timeline, it'll be a phased transition based on how quickly each distributor is selling, but we could say that within the new year, we'll start to see a lot more of the media updated. But the OPKs, if you are downloading those and doing that, that's available already. So you can update your own master images and go from that side. Into the main item of the day, which was Office. So we're going to cover off a few things. The few things, and what we actually wanted to do from that side was go into a few things about our business. So initially, and what we're looking at within that side is that we have 3 different tiers of Microsoft. The first tier is the Microsoft OEM team, which is ourselves. We're 100% dedicated to indirect partners, and these are the SKUs that we manage and look after, which is Office 365 Home and Personal, Office 365, Office 2016 Home and Business, and Office 2016 Pro. We do have another team that does the SMB side, which looks after the Office 365 for Business. and the other team is our enterprise team, and they look after the corporate accounts like the banking sector, so your Commonwealth banks of the world and Westpac. So this is how we tier the different teams. So what we wanted to try and cover off today was a lot about OEM, because I think that's the biggest market that we're seeing, or the largest opportunity, because within SMB, the move to the cloud is going gradually from that side, but we're seeing consumer, especially via retail, the adoption very, very large. And we want to make sure you're a part of that.
Yeah, and I think the purpose of this slide is just to help clarify the different areas of responsibility. I can understand it would be very confusing from a partner and customer perspective. That, as we've quickly outlaid here, there's a lot of silos within the company, and some confusion often comes about when we're working with common distributors. So, there's an SMB team working on the volume licensing and open value programs, whereas Daniel and my remit is to drive the OEM business through our partners like yourself. So that does have some product differentiation, as you'd be aware, but also, and I think it's important to acknowledge that we often have different product managers sitting in distribution. So we're closely aligned to Emma at Ingram, to Paxton and Eloisa at Cinex, and York at Dicker Data, for example. So just something to be aware of, and I know it can be confusing, but in terms of, our remit here today is to have you more familiar and comfortable with the retail or consumer, but also the small business offerings that we have available for partners and for customers.
Thank you, Gav. Okay, we'll just move on to the next piece, which will give a bit more of a Office 365. So this is the positioning that we try and do with anyone that comes in and into a store, or whenever we're talking about it, is that Office 365 goes wherever you go on any device that you have. So the key benefit is that the content's always updated, and when talking to different people, because you think in an education environment, if you've got children, they get Office 365 as part of their schooling, so they get it for free, and they're continually getting the updates. Nothing's more frustrating than when your child's at home, finishes a day at school, wants to complete a project, gets onto the communal PC or the PC from your side, if you've got one, and the content's not the same. So this is really good on Office 365 because it puts everyone on the same platform. The other things is that it's important that it works across all devices. So from iPads to Macs to Android devices to Windows devices, it's the same content that's being delivered from that side. So when you purchase Office 365, the experience is the same. And that's really good to see. That was a really big improvement, even with 2016 around just having the same experience across platform. The other thing is around just talking about the term cloud storage. It's now preferred over any online storage, so we talk about cloud storage. So the word cloud has now gone mass media or mass adoption, where just an average type of person coming in off the street understands what cloud storage means, not so much about online storage. So, and more people are finding it important, and we'll cover off storage a little bit later. But if there are any questions that you do have, feel free to type them in the instant message window, because we want to try and get your questions so that we can build upon it and we can answer them. If not today, we'll answer them via our Smart HQ mediums. But yeah, the next way is upgrades always included. So I did say that before, that the content's always updated. It's not like if there's a major patch or something happens with perpetual versions or one-off purchases, they don't get those type of updates. So having 365 continually updated just makes sure that you're a part of the change in technology, which is rapidly moving. All right. We wanted to try and cover off just the different types of SKUs available, even though that we've put the first part of just what's actually changed. So Office 365 University is now only available via Microsoft.com. So that service has changed, and that's namely because we are seeing more of the university subscriptions, that because it's being provided for free, the purchasing wasn't as much there, and So we looked at removing that SKU, but we kept it in place just for anyone that wanted to renew that subscription. But the adoption in university was quite low. The other SKUs that we have, of course, you can see just in green, and we've changed the colours just based on that's what we manage and look after is Office 365, say personal and Office 365 home, and also Home and Student 2016. The other side of in the SMB business that we manage is Professional 2016 via ESD and Office Home and Business 2016. But you can see the other types of SKUs depending on what business, and we've also included some RRP as well, so you can have a look at the different pricing by the different models. And then we go all the way to the government, which is up to, as I said, larger sectors and corporate. And so that's a really good slide to just, if you wanted one slide to show your team about all the different types of options and SKUs with Office, this is probably that one that you'd want to have.
Yeah, I think just the other call out is just, to be quite upfront, our focus from an OEM team perspective will be the 365 consumer products, the personal and home, and then down the bottom there, the home and business and professional. That really is where our marketing investment is and where our promotions and programs and incentives will lie predominantly. I don't think it's any secret. Obviously, we're moving from a home and student offering to the personal and home Office 365 SKUs. So that's why you'll see continued marketing support. Not to say that we won't support it, we won't have collateral and that sort of thing, but certainly you can see what we class as our hero products. And conversely, on the other side is what our SMB and mid-market teams are driving from a 365 business perspective.
Great, thank you. All right, now into the myth that we did get feedback and we got it via so many different channels, and we've taken our pick of the bunch that we could demystify. There's probably a few others which we didn't capture, but as they go through, please let us know because we'll build our content. But I think the biggest myth that we see, and I'll throw to Gav, is that we keep hearing that you need an internet connection to use Office 365. Fact or fiction?
Well, you certainly needed to get started from a download perspective, but once you have the applications installed, it's exactly like an on-premise version. So key to download, but you can operate standalone off the internet, safe to your hard drive, no issues at all. Having said that, features like Skype and obviously access to OneDrive will require an internet connection, but it's certainly from a day-to-day application perspective and all the goodness that you get with 365 home or personal, whatever it may be, you'll get obviously Outlook as an application, and Excel and Word. They can all be used just like you have done in the past.
So I still get all my Office applications on my desktop, no changes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many times we hear that. So that's a really good one to just start off with. And Gavin took some photos and just to show the different types of applications, and that's the number one. Myth two, I'll throw over to Gavin.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I have to operate in the cloud with 365, personal or home. What's the go there, Dan?
So false. You don't have to put your documents in the cloud, and that's quite unique when you're looking at other things like if you're looking at Google Docs or the Google applications. They all stay in the cloud. They all stay logged on to there. That's originally where you save those documents. You get the choice with Office. So you can locally save files. So if you've got something that you want to keep on your PC, you want it on your desktop, you don't want to share it with anyone else, you can do that. There's the other way where you can locally save and synchronize with OneDrive. So you save it on your OneDrive file as shown in the illustration on the right. So you can actually pick, I want this on my cloud storage, but you can save it to other cloud storage if you had that as well. And then also you can, if you're running on just a tablet and a phone, you can completely be on OneDrive. And if you don't have the application installed on your PC, it won't synchronize. But you could save it on your OneDrive account and it can synchronize just like in step 2. So the choice is yours. It's not restrictive on how you save documents. It could even save to a network storage if that's how it's done, or a master server with a communal drive. So there are so many ways that you can save documents, no difference between what application you're using. The advantage of 365 is that you can do it in the cloud.
And you know, it's a tough sell, Dan. You know, our customers, you know, are saying they don't need it, they don't want it. How can we get around that?
So I challenged a couple of our partners, and they purely do just Office 2016. And people come into the store and they want to sell Office 2016, and I said that's fine, but update your website to include content. I've got one here which Microsoft actually provide this service where you can put the Buy Office Now or the Buy Office 365 Now as a part of your website. I've got the link on the website there, but more and more partners are becoming a part of it, because also it helps with if you wanted to do this as part of like your online banners, and you can claim it and it's all compliant from our side, which means it sells itself. So if you're selling PCs like I've shown in the X200, a little bit old, but if someone was buying that online, you could have it actually down at the bottom where Buy Office 365, and it actually works and integrates where you can add it to the shopping cart. So it couldn't be easier to sell 365, especially when people are buying it online. Like, more and more people are going online. It's how we're competing against the bricks and mortar. There's some really good examples of this, and if you're not already connected with the MSDCCN, so the content, please get enrolled with that, and we'll also we might put this in a future session in the new year. So we might do something about that, just to explain of how you can maximize and how you can improve your online experience with partnering with Microsoft. And it's not just limited to Office, but there's no easier way to sell Office 365. Just put it on your website and you've got a salesman sitting there all the time for you.
What's the cost?
$0. So doesn't cost you a cent. It's something we provide all of our partners, and it's really easy to do. I'm not a web developer by any means, but I created one for a made-up organization, and it took me no longer than half an hour. So if you started doing it now, I would almost assure you that you would finish this integration by the end of the conference call. Please don't drop out now.
Any limitations? Like, do I need to be a certain size? Do I need to be a certain tier?
No restriction on size or tiering.
Okay.
So it's great to have.
One of the other feedback we get is there's no margin in this product. You know, is it worth our while?
So that was the one thing that we get challenged with, is that there's no money to be made in Office 365. So what I wanted to try and show and illustrate, on the left you can see the different types of subscription services, so between the products, and I've just used the recommended retail pricing. I'm sure you guys can negotiate better than me within that part. But what we've got is that we're comparing Office 365 Personal with Office Home and Student. Very similar. They're designated for one PC or Mac, but it also includes an iPad or Android device or Windows tablet. The advantage that you can see straight away is that you get more straight out of the box. So you get OneDrive, and you also get 60 minutes of Skype, so you get 1 terabyte of cloud storage. Even on looking at that, if you were sold just only 2 years, which is the same price. So if you purchased or sold Office 365 in the first year just based on the RRP for Personal, ex-GST, you're making $80 worth of revenue, versus Home and Student where you're making $162 worth of revenue. Let's say that you sell a 2-year subscription up front. That straight away, that keeps the revenue the same. From there, you're making roughly the same amount of front-end margin, and I'm basing this on just making 5% margin. I think it's conservative. But then I looked at also what are the rebates that are being made within that. So if you are part of our CHIP program, if you're selling Office Home and Student, it doesn't accrue any rebates. But when you're selling just 365 products, you are accruing rebates. So within that, you're making, as I said, very, very modestly, there's $11 there, there's $8. So I'm trying to dispel the rumor that there's any less or any more margins. There's slightly more, but we're not all going to retire on the beach with $4. I know that, but it's on the same playing field, and that's based on the same perception of if you were only just doing 2 years worth. The other thing that we were getting challenged with is that don't undersell the 1 terabyte of cloud storage. I had a quick look at what's available with Gavin. The free version by a competitor is 2 gigabytes of storage, which there's no revenue for yourselves within that. But if you were looking at a service that offers like a pro version, which is on the same, that's $13 a month, just offering that. So think of it in that way, that people are conditioned on the cloud storage piece. But if we're offering this and providing that to our customers collectively, they're going to be purchasing that, and they're going to appreciate the advice that you're giving, because people are having cloud storage from that side.
All right, what about this thing that customers have to renew every year, Dan?
All right. So I touched on that just then. One of the things that we do get told is that we only get the sale in the first year, and we don't have a CRM that will contact customers in year 2 or year 3 to tell them to renew the subscription. How do we ensure that whilst we're transitioning to have these types of CRM integration or improve our services for subscription services as they come along, what can we do in the meantime? So we're seeing partners sell upfront, and I showed the example where if it's the same revenue, you can sell 2 years upfront, and you can actually activate both of those cards at the time of installation. That means that if we installed a copy and it was set to expire in 2016, you could actually put 2 licenses on that, and then it expires in 2017. So that's 2 years of subscription. It's the revenue that you've got up front. You're also getting the rebates if eligible. So you're not going backwards at all. You could do 3 or 4 years. There's a good example here on an account that's expiring in 2018. So that's 3 years of subscription. And you've got to remind that, as I said, you've got 3 years of, say, 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage, but also you've got 3 hours worth of Skype minutes. And that's people use Skype all the time. So a little bit more from a 3-year side, but they're getting a lot more as well. And it's peace of mind. So in 3 years, when they need to renew their PC and they come back to you, you can then do that again. And at that time, I'm sure that the world would have evolved where we've got automated emails going out, and you retain that customer, because that's also what we want to make sure that you keep that relationship, because it's the best level of service that can be delivered, and we want to continue that.
All right, we hear a lot of this, Dan. Microsoft wants to renew the customers directly.
So I'd have to say that that's extremely false. We started off the call by saying our business objectives align with yours. We are 100% from Gavin, myself, dedicated through to the channel. We want to ensure that your business grows. We want to see more subscriptions coming through our channel, because we know that you offer a better level of service and a better level of support. It's to keep that stickiness. So if you're touching base with partners every year or every 12 months to just even renew a subscription, they have it from other products like Norton, that helps you get the customer back in the store, help service their PC. More and more people are wanting to get upgrades and things like that. There's solid state drives where they could get upgraded. Storage is getting cheaper. We want to make sure, and we will always actively push and encourage customer loyalty. Only the time that a partner or a customer is prompted to renew is at the last part of their subscription service, where there's a high probability of them not renewing their subscription. They will be reminded that that subscription is going to expire shortly. But as I said, if we look at the initial point where maybe you're in the process of investing in a CRM, you can sell 2 years of subscription up front, if not more, and then have a reminder every 3 years, and then renew that subscription with them. So couldn't be further from the truth. We want to make sure that you're successful, because our success also depends on that as well. All right. There's the top myths that we covered off, but I know there was one thing around the bits and the availability of content for Office 365, but also Office 2016. So the OPK version 16 will be available by the end of December. We're hearing mid-December it'll start being made available, but I put by the end of December only because it's a lot easier to say it'll be available within that time. There's a few enhancements. So I know that personally I've gone through this process with putting in Office 365 trials and activation where it's got to re-download more things. That's a lot more streamlined now. Having Office pre-installed is saved where you don't have to, if you're installing or setting up a PC for a customer, like you're building the PC, you're installing the operating system, you can do that and also have the Office package integrated, which means that when they do come into the store and they've already got their PC set up, you can just sell them a copy of Office 365. They go home and activate it. They don't need to download packs. So that's the real advantage of that. So it allows you to bundle that in. But then also when they do go online and they turn on the PC for the first time, it's got the icons of Office, PowerPoint, and Excel. So it reminds them that they need that. And that's really good for yourself to get that. If they walk out of the store, they'll come back because they'll need it. So it's front of mind from that side. So this is really good. This is ahead of schedule. Originally we were planning for February, and seeing it come a little bit sooner is good for us, especially in the lead up to Christmas. So it should be around about that last week before Christmas. So whilst everyone's away, you can have your developer update images and things like that. It's a nice quiet time in that break. If not, you're sitting on the beach somewhere in Australia. Okay.
All right. So thanks so far for your time, and hopefully you've learned a little bit more about Office 365 and what we're covering and here to drive. But to support that, we've got a number of marketing initiatives. One of them is already just launched, but a couple coming up very soon. So the first one is a significant above the line, lovely marketing term, consumer advertising campaign, and you may have already seen this. So if we just switch to the next slide, you can just see some of the collateral and material that's already been released. This is really trying to connect with consumers and link everyday life to using Office 365. So certainly go and search Flubbles and you'll understand the consumer campaign that's just been released. A massive amount of investment here from the company. Australian-specific content. This has been developed locally, and you'll see it in whether it be shopping centres or on the net, or whether it be on media properties such as Fairfax, etc. So look out for that, and that's a big investment, as I said, that'll run over the next couple of weeks into the Christmas period, a couple of months, I should say, into the Christmas and back-to-school period. So stay tuned for that one. And as I said, it has been released just in the last little while.
You can also get all of the same creative and content via Smart HQ. So you've got links to that, where you've got things on Flubbles and the Office 365 promotions. So you can get in line with that. And if not, I'll share that out via our channels anyway.
The next one is again, a consumer and user cashback. This is concept at this point, but just wanted to put it in as a placeholder to let you know what we've got planned. Not official yet, but certainly our intent is to run a consumer campaign. You may have seen some of these in prior back to school or Christmas periods. So we've had a lot of success in these. We've had everything from movie tickets to Xbox Live passes to cashback, and cashback seems to be one of the most popular ones. So we're planning to run that again, a little sneak peek on that. And as you can see, we'll have consistent collateral and branding and theme from what the overarching consumer campaign is. So look out for that. We'll obviously share via Smart HQ more detail around this and collateral, but excited for this to complement and drive 365 consumer offerings through your channels. But it's not only about the consumer, it's also about our important partners, and all of you are no doubt are members of the Smart HQ platform. So starting from tomorrow, I believe there's going to be a promotion there to double the Smart HQ points. And look, we're always looking to improve this program. We get lots of feedback on how we can make it better. We're looking at new ways to reward and incentivize. And so, what we're trying to do is make sure we have everything aligned from, end user demand generation through to incentives for consumers, but also for our channel partners as well. So look out for that. And as Dan referenced, certainly we'll make available collateral and assets for you to help, drive awareness and consideration in your channels. So head to Smart HQ. I think they'll be available tomorrow. So very good timing for us to have this call today. But stay tuned for those offerings and leverage them. I mean, we put a lot of time and effort and energy into them. So and thank you for your take up so far. We get a lot of from both the Windows 10 launch and the Office 2016 launch a little while back now. We had great utilization of this point of sale material. So if you use it and want it, we keep making it available.
Yep. And if you want more as well. So if you want to plaster your store with orange and replace that for wallpaper, we're happy to help out and supply. We've sent out lots and lots of copies. So if you've got multiple stores, we're happy to do that. Or if you wanted to do something where you're doing it at a particular event and you wanted to have a couple of those that you can put in that site, we can also help with that. So never feel concerned if you're just wanting some more content and material. We want to help you out as well. So always happy to try and do things with yourself. All you've got to do is just reach out and ask. So that concludes today's session. Really appreciate, and we're on time, 2:15. Thank you very much for attending. If there are any questions, please feel free to type them in. If not, we do have this recording made, and you can continue to ask questions if this isn't the best forum. Please ask via Smart HQ as well. We've got a feedback section. It comes through to myself and Gavin. We review them. If we can't answer them, we find someone that has the ability to, and we'll communicate them back to you. So we love that type of feedback because it helps us build our channel model, and we want to make sure that it's mutually beneficial for both sides. Within that note, I know that I've gotten an email from that side, so I will reach out shortly just from that side. But thank you very much. If there are no questions, we will end today's session. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dan.